Good morning. Welcome to Sunday Morning Devotional, brought to you by Golden Isles Primitive Baptist Fellowship and produced by Heart Floss TV. It's good to see you this morning. I'm V. Vernon Eckleberry, and I have a lesson for you entitled A Love Story That Never Ends. And this is part 2 of a lesson that I've prepared to go along with Mother's Day in 2022. But first, we have a song that we did last week, but it fits so well the lesson today, Not Made with Hands. And we've changed it a little bit. We've added the bass line, so it'll sound a little bit different. I hope you enjoy Not Made with Hands. Last week we learned that a Bible-based marriage is patterned after the relationship between Christ, the Eternal Bridegroom, and His church, the bride, which is comprised of all of the redeemed through the ages. We found that ancient Jewish marriages consisted of 4 stages, and we looked at the first 2 last week. They are betrothal and preparation. Now, during the 3rd stage, the bridegroom returns from the period of preparations to receive his betrothed and to carry her to the new home. Then, 4thly, came the marriage ceremony and the feast. At that time, they officially became man and wife. Now we'll see today how these last 2 stages picture Christ and His church, of which we as born-again believers are a part. So we come first of all to the arrival. When all was ready, the groom returned for his bride-to-be. The time was determined by the father when he was convinced that adequate preparations had been made by his son. This is an event that Jesus used in the parable of the 5 wise virgins and the 5 that weren't wise because they were unprepared for the bridegroom's return. And that's found in Matthew 25. And this is the language I wanted you to hear because it describes this stage of the arrival. And of course, this is a parable that pictures Jesus coming for His church. Behold, the bridegroom cometh. Go ye out to meet him. And the message for the church and for you and me is, watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. Now, this stage of the marriage process, when applied to Christ, helps us understand what this language is all about when he speaks these words of encouragement to his disciples as he was preparing to leave and go back to his Father in heaven. And now he says, if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. So that's what that's all about. It speaks of Christ, the bridegroom of the church, coming at the last to claim his bride and to carry her away to the new home. Now, this is something that we sometimes can't quite get a handle on. As I said, the bridegroom's father determined the time when he would return to claim his bride, and that was after the preparations were adequately made. And that's why Jesus, because the marriage was patterned after his relationship with the church, which involved the Father also, that's why Jesus said in Matthew 13:32, but of that day and that hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. So that kind of flies in the face of those that have all the charts with which they predict the coming of Christ. And then it will be time for the marriage. The bridegroom brings his beloved to the new home and organizes there a wedding feast during which they become man and wife. Now, God's people, his church, also trade their old home, their old place of abode, for the new prepared for them. And that's what Paul meant when he wrote in 2 Corinthians 5:1. For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of God, an house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. And that's 2 Corinthians 5:1. And that's what that song we sung in the beginning is all about. Now, John is given a vision of that day when Jesus comes to carry his bride, the church, away, and there'll be a great wedding feast. We read in Revelation 19:7, let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come. That's when time shall be no more. And his wife, that's the church, hath made herself ready. And you know these verses, and again, this tells about the consummation of that relationship between Christ and his beloved, the church. I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. That's the old home. And there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. So on this Mother's Day, as we think of our grandmothers and our mothers and our wives, let us remember that this is all patterned after a higher relationship between our Savior and the composite body of all the people through the ages who make up his church. Now, may God be with you until we meet again.